Hey everyone, and welcome. If you're studying for the HSK4, you know exactly what I'm talking about when I mention that one part of the reading exam that just makes your brain freeze. It's those fill-in-the-blank questions. Well, today we are going to crack that code. Let's jump right in. Ah, yes, this page right here. You've got a list of words, a bunch of sentences with holes in them, and that panic feeling starts to set in. You start thinking you have to know every single character perfectly. It can honestly feel like hitting a brick wall. But here is the really good news. You are definitely not alone in feeling that way. And more importantly, you don't need to panic. There's a real method to this. In this explainer, we're going to walk through a simple but super powerful strategy that'll turn these questions from your biggest weakness into a major strength. What we're going to do is use a super simple 3-step strategy. I want you to think of this as your personal toolkit for every single one of these questions. It's all about working smarter, not just harder. So here it is. Step 1, we analyze the grammar. We figure out exactly what kind of word is missing. Is it a noun, a verb, an adverb? Step 2, we look at our vocabulary options and see which ones even fit that role. And finally, step 3, we confirm the context. We figure out which of the remaining words actually make sense in the sentence. This whole process just takes all the guesswork out of it. All right. Enough theory, let's actually put this strategy to work. We're going to use questions 23 and 24 from a real HSK paper as our first case study. Okay, so take a look at question 23. You can see the structure right away. There's a blank, and it's followed by the character zhong. Now, zhong means in or inside. So the sentence is saying inside of something, there's no humor. That something, it has to be a noun, right? That's our first big clue from the grammar. Now for step 2, let's look at our options. Since we know for a fact that we need a noun, we can immediately cross off A, C, and D. They're not nouns. And just like that, we've gone from 5 choices all the way down to 2. It's either B, shortcoming, or E, life. See how powerful that is? We're already at a 50-50 shot. And now for step 3, let's check the context. The sentence compares whatever this is to food without salt. So let's try our 2 nouns. A shortcoming without humor is like a dish without salt. Grammatically, it's fine, but does that really make sense? Not really. But what about life without humor is like a dish without salt? Oh yeah, that's a classic saying. It fits perfectly. The context makes the choice crystal clear. And there it is. The full sentence reads, life without humor is like a dish you forgot to add salt to. It always makes you feel like something's missing. Perfect. The 3-step strategy led us right there, no guessing required. Let's keep it rolling. On to question 24. The sentence ends with, after a long time, blank will affect your health. So let's do step 1 again. The blank is right before the verb phrase, 会影响健康, which means will affect health. And what kind of word modifies a verb? An adverb. So we know we're hunting for an adverb. Okay, back to our list. The only adverbs we had were A, 自然, meaning naturally, and C, 互相, meaning mutually. Let's check the context. The first part of the sentence talks about people who skip breakfast. So, if you skip breakfast for a long time, will it naturally affect your health or mutually affect your health? Well, naturally makes perfect sense. It's just a logical result. Mutually doesn't fit at all. And there's our answer. After a long time, it will naturally affect your health. Boom! The strategy worked again. Quick and easy. 2 down, 2 to go. So, are you starting to feel a bit more confident? Let's keep this momentum going. We're going to use the exact same strategy on the next 2 sentences, 25 and 26, just to make sure this process really sticks. All right, question 25. Everyone please introduce yourself. Blank, get to know. Now stop. Look at the very end of that sentence. 认识认识. See how the verb is repeated? That is a huge grammatical clue in Chinese. Yeah, in Chinese, when you see a verb repeated like that, it often means to do the action a little bit or in a casual way. And this structure is almost always paired with an adverb. Now let's think about the context. People are introducing themselves. What's the goal? To get to know each other. It's a mutual thing. And if we look at our remaining words, we have the adverb 互相, which means mutually or each other. It's a perfect match for the grammar and the context. So the correct sentence is, everyone please introduce yourself and get to know each other.
See how the grammar pattern and the story of the sentence just locked into place? We've got our answer.
Okay, on to our last one, number 26. And for this one, I want you to pay really close attention to that very first word, 虽然. This word is one of the most powerful context clues you will ever find. See then means although, and it is a giant flashing signpost that tells you a contrast is coming. The sentence says, although he has some blank, I still think he's the most lovable person. The second part is super positive, which means the first part has to be something, well, kind of negative, or at least a contrast. We need a noun that contrasts with being lovable. So let's look at our leftover nouns. We already used 生活, life. Although he has some life, that makes absolutely no sense. So that leaves us with only one choice left. B, 缺点, which means shortcoming or weakness. Does that create the contrast we're looking for? Although he has some shortcomings, yes, that's exactly what the word 虽然 was setting us up for.
And that's our final answer. Although he also has some shortcomings, I still think he's the most lovable person. And just like that, we've solved all 4 questions using a clear, logical system. So, we've walked through the problems, we've seen the strategy in action, now let's zoom out and lock in this game plan so you can walk into your exam feeling totally prepared. This is what you need to remember. Remember this core strategy. 1. Grammar. 2. Vocabulary. 3. Context. Don't just stare at the sentence and hope for the best. Use this structure every single time. It'll keep you calm, it'll keep you focused, and it will absolutely boost your accuracy. And just a couple of final tips. First, always be on the hunt for those powerful clue words like although. Second, pay attention to common word pairings like 互相 and 认识. Third, use the process of elimination like it's your best friend, because it is. And most importantly, trust the strategy. Don't fall back into guessing just because you feel a little pressure. You now have a clear, repeatable method for what used to be a really confusing part of the exam. So the next time you see a page like this, you're not going to feel intimidated. You're going to see it as a puzzle that you know exactly how to solve. This isn't about luck anymore. It's about logic. You've got this.